I'd like to thank all of you for coming tonight. It makes a huge difference in our ability to care for these animals and get them out in the wild, and hopefully care for our collection that are here at Wildlife Images for your visit and the visit of all of your relatives. We couldn't do these things without you, and we can't thank you enough for all your participation. Sadly, I'm standing in front of an empty compound that once contained one of the most special animals we've ever had here at Wildlife Images, Cody, our grizzly bear. So Cody became a permanent fixture at Wildlife Images for 30 years. He was an amazing ambassador, very mellow, very easygoing, extremely powerful, and just absolutely beautiful, beautiful bear. He would come out and always make a show in front of the public, scratch on his favorite tree, or he'd smash pumpkins, or he'd take a great big backhoe tire, which he turned inside out one time, and show his strength. So he was an amazing ambassador for Wildlife Images. I don't know how we would ever replace a bear that amazing.
May of last year, we got a call about a bobcat in Rogue River. We were pretty sure she was an orphan. They were able to contain her, brought her to us, and she was not in good shape. She was very thin, she was dehydrated, she had a lot of parasites. So it wasn't a good start for her. We had full suits on, we had gauntlets, we had our faces covered, because they're a species that are very known to get too used to people, and we didn't want that to happen because that would have made it so she couldn't be released. But she was hungry and she was getting strong enough that we would put her back in her kennel and she would start eating immediately. So we were really happy to see that and see that she was gaining that strength that she needed to pull through. She got slowly better, and she was able to clear some of the parasites that she was dealing with, and she put on some weight and was eating well for us, and so we started to get optimistic about her. She was doing great. As a bobcat, she's a unique animal to our facility. We don't take in very many, so we have to do our best to prepare her for the wild, and it's going to be a hard go for her, but she passed every single test with flying colors. We were able to release her successfully in the hills of Rogue River. She bolted out of her crate and went straight up a tree, and it was amazing. Last summer was an exceptionally exciting summer for us at Wildlife Images. We also got a North American river otter. He wasn't in good shape. He was thin, he had this big wound on his neck, he even had a head tilt. We weren't really sure what his prognosis was going to be at the beginning. We were able to give him a shallow pool to begin with while that wound was healing, and then once that healed up, we started giving him bigger and bigger areas to explore and play in. For a river otter, they have to be super fast. They have to be able to catch fish that are swimming. They have to be able to avoid predators. And at the beginning, he wasn't. He was very slow, but little by little, he made progress, and we started to introduce live fish for him. Day one, he caught that first fish in seconds. As it became apparent he was doing really well, we weren't sure when to release him. We determined that otters do best released in the winter, and it seems counterintuitive because you're letting them go when the weather's not very nice. But the reason that you do that is because the fish are also slower and he has a better chance of being able to hunt. His release was one of my favorite releases that I've ever been on. He bolted out of the crate immediately, and then he turned and looked back. I've never had an animal do that before, so that was a pretty special feeling. And then he continued on his way and immediately met some of the local wildlife, but their interaction was fine. He'd swim away and around the corner.
In summer of 2020, we had a baby beaver brought into us. The mother had been shot, but luckily a neighbor who had witnessed the event was kind enough to bring the little baby in for rehabilitation here. It's been a pretty long journey with our beaver. She started on a special formula until she was old enough to start eating whole foods and chewing on wood. She hadn't been able to learn some important skills from her mom, like chewing as much wood as she should be. So through teamwork with other facilities, beaver experts, we were able to come up with a solution that encouraged her to chew on all the wood she could, playing the sound of running water from a CD player into her enclosure. That stimulated her to chew as much wood as she needed, and even to start building dams in her enclosure. Retaining that fear of humans, even the ones who want to help, is going to be vital in her survival out in the wild. In the wild, Beavers actually spend up to 2 years with their mothers before they're on their own. We knew this was going to be a long 2 years so that she had the best chance of surviving and fending for herself, which she may not have been able to do had we released her earlier. But seeing this one little beaver go from a scared little pup into a confident young adult gives us hope she will be able to have her own family, make her own way in a safe, protected area.
The funds that we generate are going to go to help so many animals over the years. We have new animals virtually every day coming in that wouldn't be in the wild again if it wasn't for wildlife images. They just simply perish. So fortunately we're here, we're rolling up our sleeves and doing whatever it takes to make sure that we care for these animals, patch them back up, and get them back out into the wild.